Woo, that's not a good thing. So we have 2 more sessions and then we'll be going through to our closing reception. Given APSCC 2025 will be in Taiwan, the next session is dedicated to understanding Taiwan's space sector, the space industry's little peanut-shaped giant, and it will be moderated by Lawrence from Novaspace.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. As for the last panel of this APSCC 2024 conference, before the recap and the wrap-up. Okay, so second, you're right. Before the recap and the wrap-up, I was about to mention. Anyway, well, it's often said that the second last panel is the best. So we'll aim at living up to those expectations, of course. We are quite excited to delve into a definitely lesser known yet fascinating topic, Taiwan's space sector. So the island is not exactly the first place that comes to mind when thinking of space powers. And yet, motivated by its success in several high-tech sectors and also an export-oriented economy, and of course a unique geopolitical environment creating both opportunities and challenges for partners all around the world, Taiwan has progressively emerged as a little giant in the space arena. And indeed, until recently, Taiwan's efforts had been focused on building up domestic capabilities through technological transfer that have been led primarily by governmental and traditional actors. And those efforts have led to some technologically impressive missions in the field of Earth observation, remote sensing, and also space science. But in the recent couple of years, we have seen a shift and the development of a commercial space sector in Taiwan. With notably a pool of Taiwanese companies playing crucial roles in the global space supply chain by supplying satellite components and ground equipment to the growing LEO SATCOM industry. So, in this panel, we will, of course, discuss the ambitions of Taiwan's space industry, its unique strengths, the opportunities and challenges it faces, and also, well, its prospects with regards to the global space value chain. So, let me introduce you to our 3 wonderful experts from, well, the commercial, academic and non-profit sectors who will share their insights on these topics. So we have Mr. Leo Chen, President of Ubicon, Professor Lauren Chiwei Chang, Distinguished Professor, Chair of the Department of Space Science and Engineering at the National Central University, Ms. Vivian Su, Section Manager at the Institute for Information Industry, also known as III. So maybe let's get started. So Leo, you gave a presentation this morning. Well, the first question will not be for you, but but just going to take some figures. So yes, in Leo's presentation this morning, we learned that the SATCOM industry had been identified as one of the 5 strategic sectors in Taiwan, and that the government will fund $100 million within the next 2 years into the SATCOM ecosystem. So, first question maybe to Susan. III is a government think tank tasked with building Taiwan's space sector. So first of all, I would like to give you the opportunity to introduce your organization, of course, and how your activities are related to the space sector. My probably second question will be if you can tell us more about Taiwan's ambitions and strategy for the space industry.
Okay, thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Vivian Su from the Institute for Information Industry. We are all, many of here, so everyone know I always introduce myself in short for III. Actually, III is an industry think tank. We work closely with the communication industry in Taiwan. My job is to help energize the market and explore different opportunities and national capabilities in Taiwan as well. Then I actually one major area, one of my major area will be in testing. From my perspective, when it comes to ground equipment, increasing connectivity and digital assets are important issues that we need to address. So that's a bit about me and also what I think in this area.
And maybe can you just be a bit more specific about the role of III, so in terms of initiatives and programs, so to support the industry?
Let me check. Okay. So we are mainly focused on the testing satellite communication in a real-world environment. Actually, this year we collaborated with the international satellite operator like Sky Perfect JSAT. In this year, we test the user terminal antenna, the performance like the tracking and pointing, especially allow its time to know the antenna, the performance in this environment. So mostly Taiwan's government, we also encourage the R&D grants and also encouragement the international partnerships with Taiwanese company. So that's III as a think tank need to do, and we need to aggressive to on the this testing area.
Okay, thank you. So Leo, this morning you talked about how Taiwanese capabilities can facilitate and support the space sector globally. So perhaps can you tell us more about those capabilities and the strengths and advantages that the Taiwanese industry can bring?
Yeah, sure. But the first thing is I want to apologize to Vivian. That's because that during my section in the morning, there's a very important government agency that I forgot to put on, which is
Oops.
Oops, yeah, oops, yeah, which is III. Actually, yeah, this is a big mistake. Yeah, so I apologize to her like so many times already, and she's too modest, you know. I think that III is actually the main driver for the whole industry. I will put it this way. Actually, she bridged all the Taiwanese enterprises, private enterprises, and the government agencies. So everything is come back to Vivian and her team. So I want to thank her for this, to bridging us all together. So that's one thing. So now I come to UBICON, right?
But
So
thank you for
yeah.
giving those I think it's highly important.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's very important thing I have to say first. And then I want to talk about your question, because in my morning section I talk about the semiconductor, the ICT stuff we have in all the capabilities we have in Taiwan. I think it's. I remember in first days, one of the panel they discussed the 3 challenges for SATCOM to really prevail. One is regulatory, I remember. The other thing is interoperability. And the third is affordability. So I think the third, affordability, is something that Taiwanese companies are really good at. Okay, if you see the PC era, the personal computer, like 80%, like 8 out of 10 PC computers are made by Taiwanese companies. And mobile phone, in the beginning, is probably also 90%. And also right now the server, so Taiwan make most of the servers also. So we also help facilitate the cloud computing era. And now AI server, right? So we are also helping on the AI industry. So I think that in satellite business, to be honest, Taiwan's industry is still very far behind, mainly because the overall the scale, and also because of the SATCOM space is very closed, proprietary. Most of the protocols or the technology are pretty like closed environment. So I think that's the challenge for us to help. But anyway, we're going to try our best. We start like Ubicon. We started as a system integrator. So we have been providing different hardware, software for maritime, mining, and agricultural sectors, right? So we know all these, like what are the requirements for these harsh environments? What are the product requirements, right? So, and then when we get in touch with these customers, we want to ask them, what's your pain point? So sometimes, a lot of time is about satellite communication. So this is why we also got involved in SATCOM. We want to integrate satellite communication into our products so we can bring up our value, right? So this is our approach. We started as a IoT devices company. Then 5 years ago, we started to got engaged with a UT, like traditional Geo UT gateway VoIP devices company. So we started to do, we call it an ODM design for this company. So we in the process, like each UT from this European company, it probably take them 2 to 3 years to design a product. And for us, we have to make it in 10 months. This is like, if we can speed up the innovation process, product making process, then we can help our customer lower down their cost. Okay, so that's one thing. And also the affordability, right? The thing is like we can help our partners to lower down their cost and yet maintain the same performance. Okay, we are not sacrificing the quality or performance. So this is our value proposition. We do it 2 ways, right? IoT, we understand the end customer's pain point. We try to serve the end customers what they need, and we try to make the right terminals for them. That's about it. Thank you.
Thanks, Leo. So, but at the moment, so what is the current impact for a company like Ubicon, and or what are the opportunities that you see, concrete opportunities for a company like yours in the space sector?
The opportunity?
The opportunity.
I think that I said that the SATCOM is pretty close proprietary environment, right? And well, we see that the space industry has been there for 60, 70 years. It's a very old industry. I will put it this way, much older than PC, server, these things, right? And I think eventually it has to go to an open environment, like what the server industry did. They called it the OCP, the open platform things, right? So all the companies in Taiwan can join the platform and then design boost up the volume and make it affordable for all users, right? So I think that maybe I'm wrong, but I see that eventually, because of the mighty Starlink, Kuiper, these competitors coming in to the consumer markets, I think they eventually will go to the B2B sector, right? Maybe they are not paying any attention on the B2B. I don't know. But after they build up the customer base in consumer markets, they will eventually go into B2B. And then from what I learned from this event, many of the operators, they think that they want to just focus on B2B, try to bring value to B2B. This is definitely the right strategy. But eventually, I think these giants will also get into that area. So why not prepare now? Why not prepare for that time, right? After 2 to 3 years, when they get into that market, we want to help the traditional satellite players, operators, to get ready for that challenge by bringing down the costs and provide the best cost performance solution, right? This is what we try to do. Yep.
It's a clear message. Thank you, Leo. Moving to, National Central University with Professor Lauren. So the academic sector in Taiwan has been quite dynamic in the field of space science. It has contributed to the different missions of Taiwan's space program, and it has also actively been engaged in several missions led by private entities as well. So perhaps my first question is, I'd like to come back on Taiwan's and CU's greatest achievements in the field of space activities.
Okay, thank you very much. So National Central University was established in Taiwan in 1962 as a direct outgrowth of participation in the 1957-1958 International Geophysical Year, which, as many of you may recall, resulted in the launch of Sputnik and Explorer 1 and the start of the space race. So like a lot of countries and organizations, our ticket to entry to space was via the science side. We had a space physics program starting in the 60s. And then in the 1980s, we established a Center for Space and Remote Sensing Research, which included building the capacity to essentially command, control, and downlink and utilize optical remote sensing data from various spacecraft. In the 1990s, with the establishment of our national space program, we became actively involved in mission design, systems engineering, and also started to implement the ability to design, qualify, and operate scientific payloads for sounding rockets and some of our larger satellite missions. Finally, in 2010s, we established our small satellite program, which initially started primarily on educational and scientific missions, but with the growth of the space industry in Taiwan, especially over the last 5 years, a lot of companies that wanted to develop space-related products or services essentially came to us, and we partnered together to help them implement that capacity and our experience in terms of design, qualification, and also operations. So over the last 5 years, we've actually operated quite a few missions that were industry partnerships. Some of them, some large corporations in Taiwan, like Foxconn and Wistron, are actively interested in actually developing in-house spaceflight capacity. So what they often do is hire our students right out of the lab, or basically embed their engineers in our small satellite teams. At the same time, we also work with small and medium industry companies in Taiwan that are typically interested in developing usually a ground segment product, but in some cases, space segment products like phased array antennas or software-defined radios. And we jointly design and operate missions intended to allow them to flight qualify their products. So, for example, last year, one mission that we launched was the Pearl mission, 2 CubeSats carrying KUK band software-defined radios developed in collaboration with 2 medium-sized companies in Taiwan, Rapid Tech and Tron Future, and funded in part by Foxconn. And so the purpose of this mission was to provide a KUK band test platform for our partner companies that are working on a LEO user terminal product, but need to have a LEO test platform with specifications and telemetry formats that we understand and have access to, as opposed to the proprietary closed systems currently on the market.
Thank you, Lawrence. So I see that indeed the academic sector works closely in cooperation with the industry. Do you see, how could you actually optimize this cooperation between the academic sector and the industry?
Okay, definitely, thank you. So I would say we could go further by, first of all, establishing long-term partnerships with companies, or in some cases, if we plan on spinning off a company, joint ventures. The benefit to this is, of course, again, experience sharing on our part, personnel training, and also, from our perspective, universities are really good at doing first principles and preliminary research and technology development, but we're really bad at a couple of things like documentation and also product management, and also converting the results of a development project into a commercially viable product. These are all things that industry is very good at. And by establishing these partnerships with companies that we work closely together with, for our part, we essentially continue to have access to our students after they've graduated, and someone else is paying their salary.
Thank you. Just looking at the time. Okay. So perhaps let's move to the next question. Maybe it's a question to the 3 of you. What are the key challenges for Taiwanese industry to have or to move up the space value chain and boost its competitiveness? To start.
Okay. So based on our interactions with various Taiwanese companies interested in getting into the space sector, one major challenge is a lot of Taiwan's tech industry is built off the OEM model. They're very good at optimizing and mass producing a design that someone hands them, but many times they have no idea where the requirements come from, what the concept of operation is, and that's where they struggle a lot. But at the same time, that's also given us the opportunity to collaborate with them, since we're one of the few organizations in Taiwan with actual spaceflight experience. So that is one challenge that I think industry has to overcome.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I totally agree with Professor. I think the OEM ODM model is like it's actually good, but it's also bad. Like, you know, the Starlink, okay, they went to Taiwan and find a contract manufacturer. So most of the terminals, 199, 299 terminals, are made by the companies you just mentioned, right? Those are OEM contract manufacturing model. But that's not what UBCon wants to do. We want to use the Taiwanese technology. For example, beamforming IC, our self-made antenna array, phase array, and all those stuff to really get into the technology side. But that will succeed only our partner willing to open up their technology to us, right? And I think that we are also very, we cherish our past success, I would put it this way. We never try to compete with our customers. We see ourselves as a facilitator. to help you bring your innovation faster, cheaper to the market. So that's also an OEM CM model type of thinking, but that we know what we do the best. So I think that this is the challenge, is that because we are so behind in the space industry, so we need some time to persuade and to prove to this old industry and all the players in SATCOM that we are able to do this and we are willing to invest. Yeah.
Please.
I think as an industry think tank, from my perspective, I would like to seek industry the positive thinking. So Taiwan has the good position in the maritime. So we have top 10 in the distant water fishing. So maybe we are thinking about the challenge will be how to get into the communication service, satellite communication service in maritime, then go in various sectors like AIoT. So that's what I see it.
And I remember we had discussion, but the issue of qualifying also some of the components, also that's something that you are like an opportunity.
Testing is very important.
Yes, yes, indeed. And just because, so Leo, you mentioned about so the companies supplying, so Starlink, but Vivian, do you have a number of, maybe the number of companies actually being suppliers of, do you have any numbers to share?
If you think Taiwan used to be the satellite, the space industry in Taiwan, I should say, there's no industry before. So since the LEO satellite industry grows, so everyone know Taiwanese company. We provide the space component. We are important components. Provide Starlink before. There are we counted it. We have 46 business company provided into the Starlink supply chain. But nowadays we also Taiwanese company. We have stronger technology. We have innovation quality. So that means actually like Ubiquan and also a few of the company like in this house we also have the Reptech in Taiwan. They could develop by their own skill to have the user terminal antenna ready. But moreover, the thing is we need to move to the system, how to cooperate with the satellite communication company and operator. So that would be also another next challenge as well.
Thank you. So we are just with few minutes. So let's see the questions from the audience. Okay, maybe the second one first. Okay, adapting Taiwan's success as OEM for space tech and manufacturing. Who would be your prime competitors, given political competition? No, Chinese competition may not overlap as it is in different space ecosystem. What about OEM competition from South Korea or Japan? Any thoughts on that?
I would say that based on my understanding, since our industry focuses a lot on mass production, there's probably a lot more overlap with South Korea in this respect. I would say though that on the other hand, we do have certain partnerships. For example, we are a customer to many South Korean and Japanese companies. So it doesn't always have to be competition, although that element will always be there.
I agree with Professor. Well, we have to compete in a different way because we are latecomer, right? So I think the 3GPP, PNT stuff, and also the multi-orbit era coming, that will help us to compete because it requires a lot of new technology, a lot of new innovation. So we see a way to compete in this new era, right? So, yeah, I agree with Professor. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Do we still have time left? I can see. Or
Actually, two, but they're very short. So I was listening to your talk this morning with an overview, very interesting, and then listening to what you guys said here just now, and the national strategy program that has put 100 million US into satellite development, satellite technology development. I haven't seen anything about the Army of Taiwan investing in satellite technology. They have a 5-year budget. I haven't read it all. I haven't read every page of it, but summaries I've read of it didn't really say anything about space technology. Normally, the defense sector is the first one to go into space technology. So, am I missing something? And then the second question is, I thought you were going to say something a minute ago when you mentioned these 46 companies that are providing components into this Starlink user antenna. But wasn't there a problem a couple of months ago? Starlink, Musk is complicated because of Tesla. I know all those complications, okay? But wasn't there an issue last year or some months ago when SpaceX was saying that it's too risky to have a lot of supply chain for Starlink inside Taiwan? And so it would be very nice and convenient for Starlink if they moved out. I don't know how easy this is. I don't know what the Taiwan government said about this. Maybe they think there's IP that might leave the country and they don't want that. But if you could give us an update on what happened there and what the upshot is. I mean, are they staying? Are they moving to Vietnam? What are they doing? Thanks.
Okay, so yeah, that's been in the news the last couple of days. My understanding is some of the companies, at least based on the reports I've read, are planning on moving manufacturing operations to Southeast Asia. In a sense, though, that's what a lot of our major OEM electronics firms have been doing over the last couple of years for production in general. So in that sense, it's not that esoteric for them to do manufacturing in that area. With respect to the question about defense, so actually a lot of the companies that are currently entering the space sector in Taiwan, quite a few of them actually started off as defense contractors, especially companies providing various RF type products. In terms of the government programs related to defense, so our defense R&D and also manufacturing body is the National Zhongshan Institute of Science and Technology. We've worked with them on some space-related projects in the past. And then also, right now, there are a lot of university space centers and departments popping up that also work on various government contracts and joint topics of interest.
It's not a top-down priority. We need SatTech to be developed like it is.
Right now, so a lot of the, in terms of satellite communications, you sort of have two parallel programs running right now. One is to develop indigenous capacity. So this is, you may have heard of the B5G constellation project that's being executed by the Taiwan Space Agency with a communications payload from ITRI, our Industrial Technology Research Institute. Of course, the life cycle of that's going to be much longer. So there's also a parallel program to work with existing industry providers, notably OneWeb. And this is being run through our Ministry of Digital Affairs. And they, and in that particular case, they've been sourcing mobile ground stations to use, make use of the OneWeb constellation, and that was actually deployed for the first time following a major earthquake on our east coast earlier this year.
I'd like to add a little bit more on what Professor said. It's about the supply chain issues, right? So So since 5 years ago, the trade war began, and then all the Taiwanese companies they were forced to move their factory from China to Southeast Asia. So a lot of them just rushed to Vietnam, Thailand, also Malaysia to do their production, right? And then what Starlink said about moving their production out of Taiwan is only because of they wanted to be producing two places. So it will strengthen their, I will put it this way, supply chain resilience, maybe. That's the only reason. They were still going to leverage Taiwanese supply chain production capability. So nothing to do with the IP issue. No, there's no IP issue for that. That's my understanding.
Okay, anything else? Okay, I think already over time. I think it's time to thank the audience and thank our panelists. We can, of course, continue the discussion. Well, we still have some time left before the end of the conference. So thank you very much. Thank you.